Who were you when you were a child? Who did you hang out with? What did you do for fun? And did you really care about anything? Because I think the answer is no. I once had to interview one of my teachers for an assignment, and the most memorable thing I can remember from her in that interview was she said, "We can all pretend that we don't care what others think, and we can say that we don't care what others think, but at the end of the day, we do." And I think that's really powerful because I think it's completely true. I can say all I want that I don't care what other people think, but at the end of the day, a tiny piece of me still does, and it's really hard to end that. To get away from trying to be who everyone wants us to be. And the way to truly be happy, I think, is to start to walk away from everyone's expectations of us, which is a lot easier said than done. I'm still working on it myself. In today's world, we are so influenced by everything. We are so influenced by social media like Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube even, and we're so influenced by the tabloids and the trends and everything, and we have to go to school and we have to see a bunch of people that we don't necessarily like or that we don't necessarily connect or vibe with, and I feel like a lot of us have a lot of friends or talk to a lot of people that we don't necessarily connect with and don't necessarily vibe with, and those are the people that we're trying to please and that we're letting influence us and letting take away a piece of our happiness, and that's not fair. And it's really hard to get rid of those people, and it's really hard to figure out who are the people that I need to get rid of. And I think the answer to that, who do I get rid of and who do I keep, is based on who we are and what we believe. And we need to just surround ourselves with people with the same values, with the same beliefs. Maybe not necessarily with the same interests, but we just need to surround ourselves with people that we find genuine and that we connect with the most. And anyone else who doesn't fit the cut, sorry, but you gotta get your scissors out and you gotta cut them from your life. And I have been known to cut people out, which it may seem mean, it may seem harsh, but at the end of the day, it has made me a much happier and much more confident person in myself. Going back to what I said in the intro, like, who were you when you were a child and who did you hang out with? I don't necessarily remember like hanging out and going on play dates with like the same person over and over and over, and I didn't really have like a best friend growing up. I had like a new best friend every year, so I don't think that really counts. But I do remember very specifically and very vividly. Oh, this is so embarrassing. We have a pond in our backyard, and it's not like a huge pond, but it's a pond. And I remember I would spend all day outside. I was always outside, even like in the fall, in the winter when it was like super cold, I was still outside, and I would never wear a jacket, and I would just dance around the pond, and I would make up these stories in my head, and I would be all these characters, and I would make up songs off the top of my head, and I would just sing them as I went, and they would be like 10-minute songs, and it was crazy. And if you had ever seen me do that, it's pretty embarrassing, but it's what I did as a child. And also in middle school, I think middle school was a very experimental phase for a lot of us. I was no different. Every year, like 6th grade, I was like emo and like sad and depressed with the world, and that had stuff to do with other things too, but I was sad and depressed and wore all black and band t-shirts and shopped at Hot Topic. Yeah. And then 7th grade, I don't know, I just really remember in like 7th grade, I would listen to like Mumford and Sons and Florence and the Machine and all these people that I listen to now, and I would always wear like sweaters, and I was always in the woods. Like, I would like run off to the woods for like 2 hours and not tell my parents where I was going, and that is dangerous. Don't do that. I tell my friends when I'm leaving now. But I was always in the woods, always, and the woods kind of became a little home for me. And part of that connects back to when I was a child. I was always outside and I was always making up stories. And that makes sense to me because now I write stories and I write books and I'm always writing a story. And the stories that are the dearest to me take place outside and take place in the woods. So while I was writing these stories and listening to all this music, I was always in the woods and it just felt like home to me. And then I lost that. I grew up a little bit more and I figured out that people wear Abercrombie and Fitch and American Eagle and they go to parties and they get high and get drunk and something just happens to us all where we start to care. And I did start to care a lot about what people thought, yeah, past tense. I used to care so much, and I don't know what happened. Just kidding, I do. I was friends with the wrong people. And I wanted new friends when my friends that I had were so great, and I love them to death. It came a point where I was just not happy, and I told you in my last video like this, the How I Got Into Spirituality one, I finally got rid of a bunch of friends, and especially one that I was letting influence me and letting take over me, and I suddenly felt so much happier, and that kind of inspired me. Well, not really like inspired, like don't go running off, cutting off everyone, but it really made me realize who I hang out with and who I spend my time with and what I spend my time looking at, what I spend my time doing influences me so greatly. I don't want to say that the people who do the things that I mentioned earlier that don't vibe or roll with me, I don't want to say that they're people pleasers or that they're just victims of society, or to each their own, just do what feels right. That's the point of this video. And going back to that kind of music, to Mumford & Sons, to Florence and the Machine, to Imagine Dragons and all this stuff, it just felt so great and it felt like going back home. And like I said, we live in a society where we're on YouTube every day and we're on Twitter every day, we're on social media every day, and a lot of what we see can affect us. All the trends that we see on Instagram, all the makeup and the baddies and all these people who feel like look amazing and look like significant and look like they love their lives. You've heard it before. It could be real for some, but for a lot it's just a facade. And I feel like we get trapped in that too. So a couple nights ago, I was scrolling through my Instagram feed and some of those people, I was like, why do I even follow you? And I was following 340 people or something like that. And I went through one by one and I unfollowed all the people that like I didn't know or I didn't know why I was following them, and I unfollowed all like the trend accounts, like the ones that just post like the funny pictures, and I just really got rid of everything that who weren't my real friends or who didn't go to my school anymore, and even people who went to my school, I unfollowed them because like they just weren't my kind of people. I got it down to like 180 people. So I got rid of like almost half of who I was following. Okay, the significance of that is now I'm not going to be surrounded by the baddies who I've wanted to be, and I won't be surrounded by the people who are going to parties every weekend and making me feel like I'm not average or I'm uncool or like a loser for not going out to all these parties and getting drunk, and I won't feel bad about myself really. I'm just following people who are like me, who go out and spend time in nature and love it, or who post pictures with their friends because they were genuinely having a good time. I feel like it's not just Instagram that we need to do that on. I unfriended a bunch of people on Snapchat because you just have to slowly curate everything in your life, all the people in your life, all the people you follow, all the things you watch, and you just have to kind of realize and remember, like, if watching these people does not make me feel good about myself, if talking to these people makes me doubt who I am or makes me the slightest bit, am I really happy, they need to go. You just need to unfollow them, unfriend them, and It's so, so hard to do. Trust me, I know. But once you do, it's like a weight is lifted off your shoulders and a piece of the world just kind of disappears. You don't have to pay attention to everything. And you should only pay attention to the things that make you feel good and make you feel pure and make you feel whole and just make your heart glow and make you glow as a person. Without that judgment, you can go back to who you really are. Like when you're a child at the very beginning, I said you don't care. Once you get rid of all those things, make you feel unworthy or just in the slightest way make you question anything about yourself. Once you get away from all that and you get it out of your life, you can suddenly be that child again that does not care. Because everything you're surrounded with and everything, all the people that you're with all the time and talk to and all the things that you see are suddenly things that you actually enjoy and things that you actually love. And I feel like this was kind of a messy video, but I feel like at the same time, a lot of people, without me explicitly saying, I feel like you'll really understand where I'm coming from and understand what I mean by you know who you have to cut off and you know what makes you feel bad about yourself and you know who you need to unfollow and for your own personal mental health. Yeah, I'm sorry if that was messy, but I just felt like talking about it. And if you liked it, please leave a like and please comment and please subscribe for more videos like these. I like doing videos like these, but you all are beautiful and you all really do deserve pure, happy lives. And until next time.